Stop growing tiny peppers and grow big ones instead. Many years ago, I had this problem. My plants would just produce smaller peppers than I was expecting, but now I grow massive jalapenos, huge sweet peppers, and it's a lot easier than you think. So in this video, I'll share how you can grow consistently bigger peppers in your garden, stop growing tiny ones with a few simple techniques. Before you go taking any action in the garden though, there are three really important things to know about first. Number one, if it's your first year growing or you're a beginner gardener, you might just need to wait a little bit longer for your peppers to reach their full size. I know this seems overly simple, but peppers grow very slowly and it can be easy to miss that progress if you're checking every single day. And I remember as a beginner wondering if my peppers were gonna get any bigger and sometimes harvesting them too soon. So you can take pictures of your pepper to see that slow progress over the course of a few days. You can also measure them and see that progress on a millimeter by millimeter basis to give yourself some proof that your peppers are still growing. Number two is that pepper plants will have differently sized peppers at any given time. You can see down here, we've got a massive jalapeno and up here, a very tiny one. That doesn't mean that this small pepper is going to stay small. It just means that each of these peppers started growing at a different time. So this one started forming many weeks ago, whereas these up here probably formed over the last week. And on that note, usually lower down, you'll see larger peppers and up top, you'll see smaller ones. That's just the natural growth progression of a pepper plant. The first peppers come on lower down on the plant, and over time, the later flushes form up top. And number three, you can pretty much ignore the size of the first one or two peppers that grow on your plant. Sometimes, and it's been pretty often for me, the first one or two peppers tend to be really small because they started forming when the plants were still very small. And it can be discouraging. You think, oh, my plant isn't producing full-size peppers, but then the plant is established and it starts growing larger, it has more energy, and the later flushes of fruit, as you can see, are nice and big. Okay, so with those things out of the way, what can you do to grow bigger peppers? The first thing is grow in a container that is large enough for the variety you're growing. I talk about container size often. A lot of people grow peppers in pots, and I think many people are reluctant to grow in a large enough container. We always recommend at least a 5-gallon container pretty much for any pepper variety. That's the minimum that we grow in now, with a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, 5 gallons is the minimum. But there really is no maximum. We have a half-barrel container that's on its 4th year growing peppers in a row, and it's the same original soil that we used. We just amended it with some compost and fertilizer, and it grows amazing, massive peppers. The reason you might want to use a larger container than you've ever used before is that container size correlates directly with plant size. And a larger pepper plant is going to have more leaves, more energy absorption from sunlight, to grow bigger peppers. Now this is especially important for peppers that are the size of a jalapeno or bigger. So jalapenos, banana peppers, poblano peppers, bell peppers, these are all really big peppers and a lot of energy is required for each one of those fruits. So if you want your plants to produce more than just a handful of peppers, you want to have a large enough container to support a big plant and a good harvest of full-sized peppers. I also usually recommend growing just one plant per container, even in a large pot. The only exception is if you have a really wide container, like that half barrel I was talking about. We have 3 blot peppers growing in that now. And the reason is that I know blot peppers are a smaller plant. I've grown them many times before and they just don't get all that big. But we have grown a single plant in that container many times and it grows to be a massive plant. So most peppers can grow to be really big. 1 pepper per container is going to give that individual plant its best shot at growing a full harvest and the biggest fruits possible. One more note that's sort of related to container size is the number of fruits on a given plant. So this is mostly for anyone growing bell peppers or peppers of a similar size to bell peppers. The number of fruits on the plant is limited. So one individual bell pepper usually won't be able to produce more than say 6 to 10 peppers at a given time. The bigger the plant, the more peppers it will be able to handle all at once. But if it's trying to produce dozens and dozens of bell peppers, the average size of those fruits will go down. So in this case, you might want to remove some of the smaller fruits just to give the plant's attention to the remaining peppers that are on the plant. That way, the peppers you leave on the plant will grow to be a little bit bigger. The next thing you can do to grow bigger peppers in your garden is fertilize frequently enough and with the right concentration. Before I get into that, if you want to learn everything we do to grow amazing big peppers every single year, download our free pepper growing guide. It's a simple, no fluff guide to growing peppers from seed to harvest. Totally free. Get it right now at the first link in the description. Okay, so fertilizing, and specifically fertilizing your plants after they've begun fruiting. I think there's a lot of confusion around this time period. When your plants have already grown to a good size, they're producing flowers and fruits, how should you fertilize them at this point? I think a lot of beginner gardeners think that you should change up how you fertilize, and I used to be this way as well, but you really don't have to change too much. Your plants are still using plenty of nitrogen. They do need a little bit more potassium and calcium at this point to form fully sized fruits that are healthy, but you probably don't need to change the type of fertilizer you're using or how frequently you're feeding. The important thing is that you're feeding often enough, and I think most people don't fertilize enough to get the most out of their plants. For potted plants, I'm feeding every 1 to 2 weeks, no longer than 2 weeks. And if it rains heavily, that can wash out nutrients from your potted plants. So it's really important to replenish those nutrients as quickly as possible to make sure your plant has everything it needs at any given time. In-ground plants or raised bed plants are a different story. We amend this soil in advance, and we'll apply some side dressing throughout the season, usually every month or so with slow release nutrients. But amending your soil at the right time is really important for in-ground plants. So doing it well before you plant into the garden, so those fertilizers or compost have time to break down and release nutrients into the soil before your plants come into the garden, is really important and will give you the best results. But if anything, I think you should try increasing the frequency of your fertilizer. You might only be doing it every 2 weeks or up to a month. Try going a little more often, especially if you're growing in containers. But frequency and concentration are two different things. You don't want to over-concentrate your fertilizer, especially if you're using synthetic liquid fertilizer. It's really concentrated and you want to follow the guidelines on the packaging. If you go too heavy on the nutrients, there's a chance you'll over-fertilize with nitrogen, which can actually harm your plants, so there's no sense in adding more fertilizer to your water. Just mix in the proper concentration and fertilize often. Now, there are fertilizers that claim to be for bigger fruits, and they'll often have less nitrogen and more potassium and phosphorus. These are fine to use. You can switch to them if you want to, but chances are it's not going to make as much of a difference as you think. The most important thing is that you have a good balance of fertilizer in the soil at all times so that the plants aren't stressing out looking for the nutrients they need when they're trying to produce peppers. The next thing you can do to grow bigger peppers is choose a bigger pepper. What I mean by that is not all jalapenos are created equal. This is the Goliath jalapeno, and they're pretty huge. This is about 4.5 inches long and 1.5, maybe 2 inches thick, really big peppers. But there are other jalapenos that are even bigger, like this Megatron jalapeno that is just gargantuan. And then there are very small jalapenos like the early jalapeno and the lemon spice. Breeders seem to think that we want bigger and bigger peppers. I noticed the Serrano peppers at the supermarket are just massive now. They're basically the size of jalapenos 10 years ago. And size can be important if you want to stuff your peppers. Bigger jalapenos are going to be better, but make sure that you test out a few different varieties to find which one actually tastes best to you, because this Megatron jalapeno is massive, but the flavor just doesn't compare to the Goliath, so I'll still be growing Goliath as our primary jalapeno. But it's similar to how people grow massive pumpkins. They grow 1,000-pound pumpkins. They start with a variety that has the potential to grow to be a massive pumpkin and then implement some other techniques throughout the season. And the same is true for bell pepper or any other very popular variety. You'll have a lot of choices. We grew a yellow bell pepper a few years ago that was much smaller than your standard bell pepper, and they just matured to a smaller size. Nothing wrong with the plant, nothing wrong with how we grew it. It just comes down to the genetics of that specific type. So read the descriptions when you're buying seeds, make sure that it has potential to grow to be big, and do some experimenting in your own garden. And the last thing you can do to grow bigger peppers is focus on the basics: watering, fertilizing, and lighting. We never want our plants to be hungry for any of these things. So we talked about fertilizing, make sure you're feeding often enough, but the same is true for water and light exposure. For watering, you want your soil to be evenly moist throughout the season, and overwatering can be a problem with in-ground beds, especially if you have clay-heavy soil. If you notice the water pooling on the surface and it doesn't seem to want to percolate down into the soil very quickly, you may have clay-rich soil that drains slowly, so you'll want to water more carefully and selectively, and maybe try to improve that soil over the coming seasons by adding compost. But you also want to water more often when it's hot and your plants are using more water, especially container plants. You might need to water those at least once a day during the hottest part of the year. And then light exposure. This starts right when your seedlings sprout. You want those under grow lights if you can. They grow much better under grow lights with 14 to 15 hours of light per day indoors. Then when you get them outside and plant them in their permanent location, you want full sun if you have access to it, but your plants can produce full-sized peppers and a full yield with less light. I would aim for a minimum of 5 to 6 hours of direct sunlight every day. Anything less than that, and you may notice less peppers or smaller peppers. So to round up this video, choose a variety that can grow big peppers. Plant those peppers in a large enough container if you're growing in pots. Fertilize them frequently to make sure they have the nutrients that they need throughout the season. And focus on the basics that your plant needs: good light exposure and consistent watering. So I hope this video helps you get bigger peppers from your garden this season. Let me know if you have any other additional tips in the comments below. Don't forget to get your free pepper growing guide in the link in the description. Thanks for watching Pepper Geek, and I'll see you soon.